Hello everybody and welcome back to F1 22 with me, Dan, and the BMW Slothz Tech team for the final race of the week. We're coming to Australia and picking our rival, which we're going to go with Max Verstappen because apparently we can't take Lando Norris for some reason. Anyway, we're moving on through the calendar. All of the different upgrades that we brought to the departments are going in right now. There's quite a lot of them. They're not going to make the huge difference. Hopefully in the next game I'll actually play and upload enough of it to actually have some kind of significant difference, and maybe even play with some of the more interesting mods, I think, which improve things like tyre wear, damage, and hopefully give the bottom teams a bit of a chance to actually move up, because at the moment they seem to get a little bit stuck. I think part of that is the regulation changes being a little bit lax on this game. Only the one in 3 seasons, and it not actually making visually any difference whatsoever. We already saw AlphaTauri moving up. In fact, if anything, it's just slightly hindered their chance of coming 6th or 7th in the constructors. But Haas, Williams, Audi or Alfa Romeo, Aston Martin, still at the back, still incredibly slow, and just get in the way every time the pit stops happen. Not the most interesting. We'd like to see them on the podium at least once or twice a season. Would be quite nice. Imagine Nicholas Latifi getting a win. Now that would be something. Right then, it's time for the Australian Grand Prix. We did okay here last season, but it's a bit of a tricky circuit. For me, particularly with these cars, a bit like an ice rink, as much like it was in F1 21, only not quite as bad now. But anyway, don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell so you know when all the next races have been uploaded. There'll be 3 per week the next 5 weeks, followed by 1 more the day before the release of F1 23, and if the early access is working, then we'll get some videos on the day. Onto the starting grid then that we go for this Grand Prix in Australia. Once again, BMW's on the front row, only this time we're taking up both slots. Lando Norris leads me into turn 1, followed by Max Verstappen, and there's Fernando Alonso, Sergio Perez and Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz and Robert Schwartzman, George Russell and Lance Stroll. Then we have Yuki Tsunoda and Pierre Gasly, Esteban Ocon and Liam Lawson. Behind them, Kevin Magnussen and Oscar Piastri, Alex Albon and Théo Pourchaire. Mick Schumacher and Zhou Guanyu are not at the back. It is in fact Dan Ticktum and Nicholas Latifi. So it'll be an interesting run into turn 1. We've got the entire group with us this time. All the McLarens, Ferraris and Red Bulls all grouped up behind us. But this should be fun. Now we're going to get to look at the cars. No, we're not. Right then, 5 red lights will appear. And away we go. Much shorter than the Saudi Arabian lights, that's for sure. The field going absolutely mental behind us as they weave all over the place. We've got Fernando Alonso and Max Verstappen challenging us into turn 1. Verstappen loses up to his teammate. We now got Sergio Perez following along behind us as we tailgate Fernando Alonso into... oh my goodness, a bit of contact there as we go through turn 3. Perez still hanging on to the inside, but we just about get back from him. He's right on board. What happened? Bad start again. Into turn 1, bit of contact maybe with Alonso, not too significant, but he did have a Porsche Red Bull up his inside. He rejoined right here at this iconic section of racetrack as we nearly barrel it into the gravel. ERS active, but no move just yet onto that harsh curb there. Brutal corner. We got a yellow flag, now a green flag, and well, okay. Oh no, Nicholas Latifi's out of the session, and we've got a virtual safety car out already. Now a full safety car has been deployed. I think because there's an Alfa Romeo on track. This is Nicholas Latifi. Big hit into the back of Zhou Guanyu or Mick Schumacher there. Oh my goodness, that was massive. Bit of a slow motion one for you there, the pink Williams. Just absolutely, look at the state of that. Jumping all over the place there. Amazingly, the Aston Martin was not sent into the shadow realm as well. But as we come round, approaching lap 3, we're going to try an interesting strategy here. We're going to come into the pit lane under the safety car, so we're going to be at the back with Max Verstappen, who I think took some damage on lap 1 as well, and came in for a front wing. And we're going to go on to the hard tyre, which is something that I wouldn't normally do, but I don't think the medium's going to get to the end. So hard it is. And now for an interesting game. How many overtakes can me and Max Verstappen get before the end of this Grand Prix, starting from the back of the field? Here we go then. Down towards turn 1, absolutely nothing happening whatsoever, but through we go, trying to get the tyres warmed up. These things are absolutely brutal to drive on. Oh my goodness. The hard tyre, not very competitive here. We dropped back over a second from Verstappen already after just a few corners, as we try and get some heat into these tyres and actually exploit their grip, what little of it there is. But we will keep them till the end of the Grand Prix, which is where they will at least come into their own. This is Verstappen on Dan Ticktum now as they come down towards one of the new profiled corners. He's going to go to the outside of Ticktum. That is dangerous, given Dan Ticktum's history. Ticktum goes deep. He hits Max Verstappen there. I mean, did we expect anything else from Dan Ticktum? But Verstappen is through, and I think mostly undamaged. And now it's our turn to take on the other Dan. ERS Open, we give him as much room as it's physically possible, so he's got no excuse, and get past him nice and easy. Up ahead, we've got a bit of a queue forming behind Alex Albon. All of the slow cars back here, apart from the Hasses, are kind of just hanging around. Verstappen can't find a way past Zhou Guanyu. We'll probably find a way through on the pit straight. I don't think we're going to get DRS just yet, though. We come round into the final corner. Still no moves yet. Still struggling a little bit with the hard tyre. We've got Ticktum ready to crash into us. Russell's come in already, as has one of the Alpines. And Verstappen goes around the outside of Zhou Guanyu. We're going to just about miss the Aston Martin, but we overtook him off circuit, and we have to hand that position back. Careful to block Ticktum before he crashes into us as well. We rejoin. We've not lost too much time there behind the Aston Martin, and we go to the inside. He does take a swipe at us. He didn't look at his mirrors before manoeuvring, but we get through nice and easy, and we're going to see Max Verstappen surely go for a move now on the Aston Martin. There he goes to the outside around Mick Schumacher. He will go. Schumacher also taking great care to crash into Max Verstappen through that section, and now it's our turn. Having just witnessed that, this should be fun. Schumacher still running the soft, so going, I guess, quite a long way. We've got the majority of the field in, including our teammate now on our right hand side. There's Alonso. We're going to go out the inside of Schumacher into turn 1. He locks up and bricks it into turn 1, and there's Lando Norris, the net race leader, just ahead of us. So we've actually managed to do quite good here. Where's Perez on track? He's still not come in, so we may still pull off one of the greatest undercuts ever. Well, not really, but we've pulled off an undercut almost on Sergio Perez, and now we're following our teammate who's on cold mediums. Fresh mediums, but cold. And Norris, using absolutely none of his ERS to defend here, allows us to go past for some reason, and we take away what will hopefully be net P1 from him. There's Verstappen trying to make a move on our former teammate Teo Pourchaire. He goes to the inside, goes over the grass to cut the corner. In taking the inside line this time, given that he's been crashed into twice, trying to overtake back markers at this very same corner. But he makes the move. Stick, kind of, on the second part. No, Teo Pourchaire comes back, crashes into him anyway. And now Verstappen's hitting Pourchaire, who goes slow. They're both crashing into each other, but we get past the pair of them. Lando Norris is thinking, what the bloody hell are you doing? You idiots! As he gets trapped behind these quarrelling demolition derby specialists. And we rejoin on lap 9. Théo Pourchaire has decided to join a different sport entirely. And we're watching Verstappen defended from our teammate. We ideally do need Verstappen to stay ahead in order to try and catch up to Lando Norris in the Drivers' Championship. But it looks as though he's going to let him past here, potentially. Or is he going to go up the inside and crash into him? No. Lock up from Norris potentially there. He ran wide out to the curb, so doesn't get the move done this time. We're just about pulling a lead over these two, but they're allowing Fernando Alonso to start to catch up. Verstappen's probably beginning to struggle on those tyres, which he's had since lap 2. And Norris then goes around the outside, and now Fernando Alonso is going to be having a look to see if he can get past the Red Bull as well. Or not, as Max Verstappen comes into the pits. This is the overtake. Then Norris gives him barely any room there. It actually causes him to... causes Verstappen to do a little bit of a correction, which ultimately just slowed him down. And we rejoin familiar sights here for this week. Lando Norris chased us down with DRS. And with the fastest lap, unfortunately. Alex Albon has just retired. Norris goes to the outside. He's going to just about give us enough space, and we're going to hold the inside line. Now the outside, Norris throttling it. Just about hanging on, but takes the position away, unfortunately. And, well, we've actually got Fernando Alonso 1/10 behind us. The man who finished second. He finished third in the championship. No, he didn't. He finished second. Norris finished third in last season's Drivers' Championship. And, well, he's going to finish behind us again here as we get the move done and start making our way through that high-speed iconic section at 150 miles an hour. We gift Norris the DRS to help him defend from Alonso, and he repays us by not attacking. There's the stricken Williams. That is 2 down for Williams in this race. Not a great start for them here in Australia, but at least they don't have Oscar Piastri ruining his home Grand Prix here. Here goes Norris on the penultimate lap into turn 1, and he's going to get past us. No, we hang it round the outside. I think that might have been illegal technically, but the FIA have ruled in our favour on this occasion, and Norris will decide to get us at the next corner, or will he, as we go around the outside, now the inside. Norris stays with it. The BMW's battling away here, but Norris takes the place away again, and will more than likely lose the place at the same location again. In just a moment, as we deploy the ERS, we're already closing up on him. Going to the inside, we get the move done, and we are back in front. Lando Norris still has not learnt. And talking of not learning, the fighting has resulted in 3 other cars decided to join the fight behind us. We've now got Sergio Perez, Fernando Alonso, and our teammate from last season, Carlos Sainz, now sits behind us, waiting for the moment that we inevitably crash into each other or run each other off the track for one of them to try and exploit. For some reason, the Ferrari looks a little bit like the Audi back there at the moment. There we go. Now that it's a bit more in focus, it's fine. As we come around on the final lap here, down towards turn 3, Norris with the DRS. He's going to try... No, he's not going to try it this time. I think we saved at the battery for this final lap. Of course, Norris is also going to have to be mindful of Sergio Perez, who is sitting just behind him right now. Could cause some problems as we come through this section. We know we're faster through here, so there we go. Deploying the ERS is seen on the steering wheel. We're pulling out a nice half-second lead. Can we get 6 temps here? Yes, we can. Can we get 7 temps? Yes, we can. Can we get 8 temps? We do. We're not going to lose Norris when we come for the DRS zone. But, as we go flying round there, we nearly lose it into the gravel. We lose our lead. In fact, it's a good thing we had nearly 9 tenths over our teammate there because he nearly caught us. But alas, we are going to come around the final 2 corners now. That's the first one. Then the second one. Norris is not going to have enough to take us before the finish line. He's got the DRS, but it's not going to matter. And we cross the line. We nearly give it to him anyway. Celebrating, but we take another win. That is 2 wins back to back for us. 1 in Saudi Arabia, 1 in Australia. That puts it 2-1 to us over Norris. And we also get driver of the day as well. Drivers' Championship wise though, still got a little bit of a way to go to catch up to Norris since we only scored 1 point in the first race. As we celebrate with the team once again. And once again, fantastic liveries and overalls by the modding community as well. In fact, the Red Bull one looks very similar to one you can get in games, so actually utilising some existing assets quite well there. But we get to celebrate with our teammates on the podium, and now we get to look at the race results. And it's deja vu from Saudi Arabia. We pick up the win, followed by our teammate Lando Norris, who also picked up the fastest lap. We're followed by Sergio Perez, Fernando Alonso, Carlos Sainz, Robert Schwartzman, George Russell, Charles Leclerc, Esteban Ocon, and Pierre Gasly. Over to the Drivers' Championship now. We reduce Norris's lead to just 13 points, back to us in second. Then we have Sergio Perez, Fernando Alonso, George Russell, Robert Schwartzman, Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen, and Esteban Ocon. Further down the order, we have Liam Lawson, Lance Stroll, Pierre Gasly, Nicolas Latifi, Kevin Magnussen, Zhou Guanyu, Yuki Tsunoda, Teo Pourchaire, Oscar Piastri, Alex Albon, Dan Ticktum, and Mick Schumacher. And over to the constructors, BMW remain at the top now, 55 points clear of rivals Red Bull. Then we have McLaren, Ferrari jump Mercedes up to 4th. Then Alpine, AlphaTauri, Williams, Haas, Aston Martin, and Audi. That's all for this video. We'll catch you next week for the next one.